So let's take a moment to arrive, transitioning from wherever you were and whatever you were doing to your mat. Noticing that it takes a minute. We rarely give ourselves time for that minute, and especially with the upcoming week ahead, with lots of people coming in with all of their different energies, giving yourself time to arrive and ground into your body and you can be a beautiful practice for everyone. And so coming into your breath here, inhale and exhale. We'll take 3 big deep breaths together just to arrive, to transition well into this space. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Keeping it simple. Coming back to basics. If the swirls emerge, coming back to arriving and settling, connecting with yourself. And you can either flip your palms open on your thighs at this moment, or bring your hands to heart. Notice what feels best to you as a place to settle in and relax and begin that process of opening up, unwinding, and checking in. The invitation of today's class is to move forward with intention. And the holidays often bring up a lot of churn, even if we love them and even if we love our families members, and more so if we have family members who we struggle with. And so the invitation today is to set yourself up for success, whatever success looks like for you. And in my case, I'm getting to be with all these people that I love, but who are all now young adults with different ideas and very different personalities and different responsibilities and interests. And for me, it's always a practice of showing up intentionally for me. And I always like to pause, and this class is going to be my pause, to set that intention, to decide how I would like to show up, how I would like to experience it, regardless of what everyone else brings, which could, of course, be lovely. And I anticipate it will be lovely and involve some frustrations and disappointments and people doing things that I wouldn't necessarily choose. And so beginning with compassion for yourself, that you have wishes and wants and desires that may or may not be met. And just taking a moment to let those settle into the heart space, not in a negative way, but perhaps an invitation to let them be light. Compassion for you, compassion for all those you love, compassion for the complications of the human spirit and human beings. And that along with the beauty and the love and the wonder and the happiness and the joy also comes sometimes frustration and disappointment. And that's all a part of life and being in it and enjoying it, in fact. And when you feel ready, full of kindness and compassion for that human spirit, taking a moment to think about your intention moving forward. How would you like to show up this week? What emotions would you like to embody? What is your superpower when navigating family events? What feels good to you? It's often not stoicism or accepting radically. For me, it's softness and flexibility and allowing myself to be present in the moment and allowing myself to see the good and let it be good and amazing just as it is. Letting go of some of those old habits of fixing, managing, controlling, wanting things to be a certain way, and literally just being, breathing, noticing. In the presence is where the joy is found. So perhaps part of your intention would be presence. Perhaps part of your intention would be softness or flexibility or ease. And I invite you to pick perhaps more than one word. I decided to pick a few because I find the more humans involved, the more words you need to keep you buoyant and balanced and afloat. There is that quote that says, when you stop struggling, you float. So for some of you, your week might be made even more special by choosing to float a bit more. For some of you, it might be made more special by turning your attention to appreciation. Maybe even appreciation of yourself for creating the life that you have, perhaps the humans that you have in it, and perhaps appreciation for those humans that created you. Once again, choosing the lens that works for you, your personal human spirit, and being in your human life with all the other humans that you are gathering with. And using this as Shauna Shapiro calls self-compassion, a life raft, something to go back to, something to help you be buoyant, not to grasp onto, but to have there when you need it. And to pay a little bit of attention up front while breathing deeply here. As you find your brain telling you why it won't work, breathing in and breathing out. Allowing in perhaps curiosity or softness. And letting the breath bring in some calm. And reminding yourself that that breath is always available to you. Or hand to heart is always available to you. Or perhaps sitting somewhere and grounding with your sit bones, if that's your place of safety. Or perhaps just standing barefoot, noticing your feet on the earth. Notice for you here in this moment, where is that within your body that you can find your grounding, your centeredness, where you can find your presence again. Remembering that the joy is found in the presence. It's not found in what's happening around you. It's found by being in the moment and noticing the sparkle, noticing the things there that do feel good, that are good. When we look ahead or look behind, we might enjoy some joy, but it's not actually felt joy. So practicing today, being present, pausing, and choosing somewhere to direct your attention this week with intention. Otherwise, our brain goes to the negative, and we all know what that's like when families gather. So empowering yourself with breath, reminding yourself of what you have within you to feel steady, to feel love, to show up with grace and compassion and kindness and softness for yourself. And all those you love or who just happen to be in your life. So taking a moment to sit with how you would like to move forward, your guiding light, the light from the lighthouse you would like to shine out. Perhaps specifically setting an intention not to be that zodiac raft, making everyone happy and rescuing and solving and fixing, but being the lighthouse for yourself and for those who are gathering in your world. And if you are working, perhaps the same invitation. Taking in a big, deep inhale, sealing in that intention under your hands or wherever in your body is your safe, grounded, centered spot. Empowering yourself with that. And exhaling, releasing the tension, settling in, allowing it to fall into all the nooks and crannies, bathing your cells with it. And when you feel complete, you can lower your hands and open your eyes and roll things around, finding what needs attention and just sending it love and kindness. And we'll engage our belly, wiggle your fingers at your sides. Inhale, reaching your arms up towards the sky, interlacing your fingers, flip your palms up, do a little shimmy, always adding a little lightness. Slight arch back and exhale, round forward, softening everything in your back, creating space. Inhaling, reaching up, slight arch back. Your heart is shining forward, believing, hoping, looking forward excitedly. Exhale, round forward, enjoying the back body. Reaching the crown of your head forward. Drop your head and neck as your hands reach forward and enjoy that lengthening in the spine. Inhale, reach tall. Notice your sit bones here. Take an inhale and exhale, reaching tall. Exhale, tip to the right gently, ground the left hip. Noticing you might not feel super stable here. It's a small movement. Inhale back to center. Exhale, tip to the left. Engage your right side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, tip to the right. Using your center here. Noticing that you are stable. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhale towards the left. Notice your belly, taking good care of your back as you move here. Inhale, reach towards the sky. Reaching your arms out, reclasp them at your sacrum. Press your shoulders down and back, fists towards the floor, opening your heart, shoulders down and back. Notice the tension and drop your chin to your chest and let it release. Huge breath in. And exhale, soften and let go. Bringing your chin back to neutral. Turn your chin to the left and drop your chin to your shoulder. Sending some space into that right neck, inviting softening, flexibility, openness. Bringing your chin back to neutral, back to center, to the right. Drop your chin to the right shoulder. Inviting space into the shoulder. Bring your chin back to neutral, bringing it back to center. One more time, drop your chin to your chest, shoulders with intention down, tension and release all at the same time. Come back to the breath and notice what happens. Release your hands, bringing them back up towards the sky. You'll stretch your legs long. If you're on a block or a bolster, stay up there. A little bit precarious, a little bit more tippy, a little bit more unsteady. And engage your belly. If you're on the floor, that's fine too. Exhale, round forward towards your toes. You can bring your knees towards the earth and allow your head and neck to drop, noticing how much room you have today without judgment. Send the breath into any tight spots. Spread your toes wide, open, inviting that energy, a little twangy, but also really release, freeing, wiggling your big toe towards the front and then all your other toes towards the front. Notice these tiny little shifts. Your toes are always something you can work on controlling rather than other people. Relaxing your toes, point your toes towards the front, noticing the shins, your back. Flex your ankles, toes will come towards your knees, and enjoy the energy shifting. Merely energy. Sometimes we make the energy into something problematic, but what if it's just energy? Relaxing your toes, bend your knees, and if you happen to be on something, move it out from under you. Coming into a butterfly pose, soles of the feet together, draw your heels in towards your knees. It's the beginning of the monarch butterfly season in California. So I'm inspired by these butterfly poses to flap your knees, creating space in your groin area, and just enjoying that lightness. Notice your sit bones and find that stable in the midst of this. And when you feel right, bringing your hands to your arches, draw your knees towards the floor. Once again, noticing the tension, bring your elbows around your chest if it happens to be in the way, and grow your spine tall. Crown of the head is going to reach towards the sky, breathing in, enjoying the breath. Exhale, let it out. Take a moment here to come back to your intentions of how you'd like to move forward this week with whatever this week holds for you. Let those intentions be your guiding light as you press your knees towards the floor. Gently release your hands. Bring your heels forward, coming into a diamond shape, and allow your back to hinge at the waist, and you'll slide your hands forward towards your toes. Back is flat, and enjoy this release. It's a little bit different. Drop your head and neck and enjoy for a moment. Sliding back up. Bring that right foot in towards your groin. You're going to bring it to the left thigh, straight the left thigh, left leg out towards the left. Sliding your left arm down that left thigh, reach your right arm over, gracefully over that right ear, and send some space and love into that right waist and hip. Just noticing how it feels. Huge breath in and out. Allowing yourself to breathe fully. Another tool you have when the tension rises. Breathing in and breathing out. Always pausing, noticing, and then moving forward, connecting with that intention. Slide your left forearm down towards your left ankle, opening up your right side body, breathing into it. Sliding back up, we'll bring our right hand down to the earth about 18 inches in front of your right hip. You'll place your hand down, all 5 fingers, lower it to the earth, and lift up into Wild Thing, having a little stretch, enjoying your body here, whatever it can do. Anything you need to opt out of or change, just do that. Remembering it's your practice, you get to choose what you want to do. Same thing over holidays. You don't have to do everything. Just choose what works for you. Sitting back down, coming back to a seat, find your sit bones, stretch your right leg out. You're coming into a wide angle pose. Find your center, find your sit bones. Always attending to your center. Notice your legs, flex your ankles, toes towards your knees, bring your hands in front, and you'll walk forward. Enjoy a little release. 3 deep breaths here. With each one, notice or invite a little bit more hinging at the waist. Back is flat. You may notice twanging in the hips. Have a little wiggle. Find your sit bones. Find your seat. Huge breath in and out. Notice if it would be fun to point your toes or flex your toes towards your knees. Once again, point them and flex them. Tiny movements. One more hinge forward. Again, doing what works for you. Notice what's too much, what feels good. Sliding back up. Sitting tall and graceful. You bring your hands behind you. Tense your fingers, cupcakes underneath. Pick your hips up and slide forward a little bit. Your shoulders down and back. Heart is shining towards the front. Huge breath in and out. Flex your toes towards your knees. Spread your toes wide. Wide, 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 lots of energy shifting. Relax your toes. Fingers still pressing down. Don't smush the cupcakes. Point your toes. The frosting is intact. Flex your ankles and relax. Bring one hand in, left hand in the middle of the triangle in front, right hand behind you. Inhale, sitting up as tall as you can. Align your spine. Exhale, gaze over that right shoulder. Your belly is engaged. Spine is lengthening. Exhale, twist over the right shoulder. Breathing in, giving your innards a massage, and strengthening these tiny muscles in your core, in your center. Sitting up tall, even in this position, noticing your shoulders not gripping or grabbing, softening. One big breath over the right shoulder once again. Unwinding, you'll bring your right hand to the front between your legs. You can cupcake it or straight your knuckle. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, left hand comes behind. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Spine is straight, belly's engaged. Everything is engaged here with kindness. Breathing in, twists or spine lengtheners. Grow tall. Grow, grow, grow. And exhale, gaze. For those of you who are short like me, yoga is a chance to get a little bit taller. My mom made this comment about how I was by far the shortest in my family now. So I'm going to work on growing an inch. I'll never catch up. But my 3 sons are way taller than me. But either way, I'm going to grow a little bit, little by little. Exhale, gaze over that left shoulder. And walk your way back with kindness. An easy counter twist to the right side. Coming back to center, your left sole of your foot will come into the left inner thigh. Left sole of the foot comes to the right inner thigh. Slide your right arm down the right, and left arm reaches gracefully over, opening up that waist. Huge breath in. If it feels good, tuck that left arm back, gazing up, breathing in, enjoying the stretch. Enjoying creating space, noticing that creating space isn't necessarily easy. And it doesn't take grit, it takes softening. Intentional softening. Intentionally allowing that space in. When you feel complete here, sliding your right arm up the right leg, left hand's going to come behind the left hip, reaching up into Wild Thing, stretching, having fun, wiggling your fingers. Outer edge of the right toes are grounding into the earth. And when you feel complete, sitting back down in front. We're going to come into, I'm going to offer either double pigeon, cow face pose, or some of you will just have right ankle in front of left. So right ankle in front of left, and you'll draw your knees as close together as you can. Some of you will pick up that left ankle and place it atop the right knee for double pigeon. And some of you who want to get even more twisty, bring knee atop knee coming into cow face pose. And I have no idea why it's called that. And you bring your ankles towards your hips. Notice what feels best to your body here. And when you've found it, tilt your pelvic bowl forward, sitting up as tall as you can. Grow your spine towards the sky. And sending love and kindness into that right hip, the tension. And wherever you find yourself, we're going to reach our arms out towards the side. Palms will face the front. Excuse me. We're going to come into eagle pose to really twist ourselves up into a pretzel. Right elbow under left. Your palms will face towards the back first, and then together, grab your thumbs. Elbows come to shoulder height. Noticing how you are quite a bit like a pretzel here. Elbows press in opposite directions into each other, releasing that spot between your scapula. And sometimes over holidays, we feel all twisted up like a pretzel or tight, tight, tight. And here, a practice of inviting that intention that you want in, all twisted up, letting it melt into those stretching muscles and tendons. Breathe. If it's joy, connection, peace, appreciation, curiosity, wonder, ease, whatever your word is or words. And I always like to choose a few, creating more of a 360 experience, and you have a choice when one isn't quite right for the situation, you have an option. If you have room, bring your elbows in towards your belly and drop your head and neck and enjoy. Coming back upright to neutral. Enjoying the pretzel for one more moment. Untangle your arms, stretch them wide, wide, wide. And you'll untangle, bringing them by your sides, untangle your legs. Coming into legs extended, move the flesh of your seat. Sliding down over your thighs, hinge at the waist today. Elbows flat towards your knees, shins somewhere, wherever they land. And flex your toes towards your nose. Lots of release, evening your hips. Breathe here. Even try closing your eyes, finding that spot of center, heart, sit bones. Notice where yours is. With your eyes closed, you may be able to connect with it. Cultivating that sense of groundedness or centeredness so you can come back to it whenever you need. And pouring the breath into every nook and cranny, inviting some softness, some release, even amidst the tension. Sliding up those shins, coming back upright. We'll cross in the opposite direction. So you'll come into double pigeon or left ankle in front of right knee. And some of you, cow face. Do what feels fun. Neither is better or worse or stretchier. It's what your body needs today. And you might find that it needs something different on this side. Honor that, taking a moment to notice that even your body from side to side needs different things, just like all the people in your life need different things at different times of the day. Tilting your pelvic bowl forward wherever you are, sitting up tall, grow your spine, growing tall. And taking a moment to send that love, kindness, and attention into the hip. Remembering that when we take care of ourselves first, we have more capacity, more space. And it's easier to show up how we might like. And when you're ready, you'll bring your arms out to the sides and coming into the opposite eagle arms, left elbow under right, palms come towards the back, towards each other, grab your thumbs, whatever works for your body. Again, opting out if your shoulders don't do this, or if you'd like to give yourself a hug, that would be another lovely option here if that works better for your arms and shoulders. For those of you twisted into eagle arms, press your elbows in opposite direction. Enjoying the release. You can even notice there might be a peephole between your hands, depending on how your hands meet. Have a little fun with it. Being in the moment, the presence is where the joy is found. The joy even in yoga. It's the presence of noticing that release, noticing the calm. That's where the joy and peace in yoga comes, is in the presence. And we can find that at the table, on the football field, if your family plays football or basketball over the holidays, on the ski mountain, wherever, even in traffic. Breathing in. If you feel up to it, bring your elbows down into your belly and relax your head and neck and let yourself enjoy whatever emerges here. Closing your eyes, finding your root underneath you, your centered spot. Rising back upright, untangling your arms, untangling your legs. Once again, find your sit bones, taking the time to transition well, moving the flesh of the seat with kindness. You'll reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, round your back this time, coming into a forward fold. When you arrive, wherever you arrive, point your toes. And flex your ankles towards your knees. And relax the feet, slide forward. Coming back up, sliding up the legs. We'll sweep our feet around, coming into hands and knees. And if you want and happen to have blocks, you can use your blocks for hands and knees. It's kind of fun to give yourself a little bit of a lift, totally up to you. And you can actually use them on any setting. It changes the cat-cow to be engage different muscles. So you might want to try it if you have them for fun. And if you don't, hands on ground are fine. Inhale for cow, arch your back and enjoy the front of your belly. Gazing forward, your heart is shining forward. Exhale, round, suck your belly all the way up, drop your head and neck, enjoying it. Inhale for cow, stick the sit bones towards the sky, crown of the head reaches forward. Pausing and enjoying. And exhale, round into cat. Coming back to center, pause for a moment. You're going to bring your left knee forward between your hands in whatever way it comes most easily. If you have your blocks, I encourage you to use them. And if you don't need them. We're going to come into a low lunge. You'll slide your back knee back and your left toes forward. So your knee is not in front of your ankle. If you have your blocks, use them. They actually allow you to release more. Rising up wherever you are. If you have no blocks, bring your hands to your left thigh and reach the crown of your head to the sky. If your right knee is cranky, give it a blanket. You can also fold over the edge of your yoga mat to give you a double fold underneath your knee. And pause here once again. Finding the joy in the presence of that hip release. Enjoying the stretch, even though it may not feel joyful. Find the joyful part. Maybe it's the release. 3 breaths here. Sitting up as tall as you can, spine reaching towards the sky, crown of the head reaching towards the sky, heart shining forward. When that right hip feels happy enough, you will straight your left leg, coming into a half splits. If you have the blocks, walk them back towards you, flex your ankle, toes will come towards your knee, enjoying your hamstring. If you don't have blocks, you'll once again bring your hand to your thigh, not over your knee, and hinge at the waist. And notice what happens. If it feels good, you can point your toe and flex your toe, or notice if it feels good to stay exactly where you are. A tiny little tack back of the left hip, right hip forward. You can even turn the sole of your foot to the right, sole of the left foot to the right and to the left. These tiny movements invite sometimes delicious feelings. We're going to lower the left sole of the foot to the earth, bend that left knee. And if you have blocks, bring them over to the inside of the left foot. If you don't have blocks, you can just bring your hands to the inside of the left foot. And you'll roll onto the outer left edge of your foot, coming into lizard pose. Some of you will be down low. My body doesn't do that, so I can't really even demonstrate it. But you come down to your elbows, maybe with the blocks, I can. And some of you will enjoy that. Some of you will want to stay up, even on your fists. You can be on your elbows, on your fists. Notice what feels best to your body. And tend to that right knee with care. Notice if it has any opinion about this. Soften in and breathe. We often carry a lot of old emotions, hurts, tensions in the pelvic groin area. So sending it kindness, allowing it to soften here. Those sometimes come up in family things. And so just gifting yourself that kindness. Of course, it's there. It's not a problem. And you're tending to it in advance. One more breath. And you'll roll onto the sole of the left foot, bringing your hands to either side of your foot or your blocks if you have them. Curl your back toe and lift up to a low lunge. You may have to rearrange your knees and feet. Coming into that low lunge with hands down for a moment. Pause here, tack that left hip back, right hip forward. Sending the love into the right hip, which may be alerting you to something. You're going to next straight your left knee and bend it. If you don't have blocks, just use your fists on the floor. Straight your front knee and bend it. Noticing the tension and then the release. Noticing that you can soften in. And we will pause with the front leg straight, left leg. Drop your right heel to the earth and hop it forward a smidge. You're going to come into Trikonasana or triangle pose. With a block or without, reach your right arm up towards the sky. Both legs are straight, back foot is pigeon-toed, rolling that right shoulder up. If it doesn't work for you, modify. Your right hand, if it would feel better to your shoulder, you can tuck it into the left hip crease and gaze upward. Notice what feels best to you. Some of you may like to bring that right arm over the right ear and notice what happens. If that brings tension into your neck, don't do it. If you have a block, grab it. We're going to come into half moon. You don't need a block to do it. A wall is helpful, and or you can stay in triangle pose. It's one of my favorites, so we'll do it. Bend that left knee, coming into a warrior 2 legs. You'll grab your block. You'll drop your block. You'll pick it up, move it about 2 feet in front of the left toes, and raise your right leg up towards the sky. For some of you, this will be your moon. Some of you will raise your hand here. If you don't have a block, you can have your hand on the floor. And if you have a wall behind you, melt into the wall. It will help you balance. And if this doesn't work, have some loving amusement. One more breath here for those of you who love it. And we'll lower our back foot. Come back to triangle legs, reaching your arm back up into triangle arms. And slowly rising up, arms apart, bring your hands to your hips, turn your toes towards the side of the mat. If you have the block, grab it once again and hinge forward at the waist, flat back. Notice your feet, make sure they're parallel to the front and back of the mat, and lower your hands to the floor. Your head can come to that block if you want. You can also walk your hands behind you between your legs if you don't have a block. And if you have high blood pressure or you hate being upside down, keep your back flat. And if you don't have a block, use the books. And I do encourage all of you who come regularly, since most of the people here to begin at least were regulars, to get some blocks. They're fun. They make the practice more interesting and creative. And some days your body needs them. My body needs them today. That's why we're using them. Wherever you are, begin to lift up, flat back. You'll bring your heels together, coming into that second position. Your hands can be on your hips or on the block. You'll bend your knees and coming up into goddess pose because it's fun. Knees will be directly in line with your toes. Make sure you're not scrunched up in a funny way. Reaching your arms up towards the sky, exhaling them into that cactus pose. Pinch your elbows into your waist, reaching them towards the sky, bringing them down into your waist once again. While they're at your waist, like chicken arms, raise your right heel and lower it down. Raise your left heel and lower it down. Bring your hands together at heart center. Press your thumbs in towards your sternum. And if it would feel good, lift both heels up. Sink your hips down. Lower your heels, straight your knees, reach your arms up into that star pose. Lower your hands to your hips, and you'll turn your right toe towards the back of the mat, and pigeon toe your left foot. You're going to bring your block, if you have one, to the inside of the right foot, lifting up into Trikonasana or triangle pose here. Readjust your feet if you need to. You just might. If you would like to bring your left hand into the left hip crease, gazing upward, notice what feels good here. Reach that left hand towards the sky. I like to bring it to my hip for half moon. I find the balance easier, but do what works for you. For those of you who have a half moon practice, bend your right knee. You're going to pick up the block and hop that left foot a little bit farther forward. Bring the block about 2 feet in front of your right foot and lift that left leg up into half moon. You can stay here. You can reach your left hand up. You can use the wall or just staying in triangle. Wiggling fingers and toes. Ooh. Lower your back foot down, coming back to triangle pose for a moment. And you will turn your back heel towards the back wall. Hands will come towards the front wall for most of you. Your hands will come to either side of your foot. You're going to come into the high lunge and pause here for a moment. Notice how it feels. Letting different things release. And you will bend that back knee, lower it down, coming into the low lunge, grabbing both blocks if you have them, or bringing your hands to your thighs, whatever works for your body today. Inviting release into that left hip. And if you need to turn around to see me, feel free to reorient yourself on your mat. Sending the breath and love and kindness into that left hip flexor. Noticing what your body needs on this side might be different. And even the slight shifts of blocks to thigh can invite a different area to engage. Being curious, inviting that softness, even in things that don't feel soft. It's good practice. And inviting the breath. Notice if you're holding it. Bringing your hands back to the floor, you're going to straight your right foot, coming into a half splits using blocks or not. When you arrive, notice your hips, and if they're wonky, rearrange them. Some of you may want to point your toes in the half splits and flex them towards your knee. You can bend your elbows and hinge. Do what feels good. Walking yourself back forward, you'll bring the blocks or your hands to the inside of that right foot. Your right foot's going to come all the way to the edge of the mat and roll onto the outer edge of the right foot, coming into your lizard. Enjoying it. When you feel complete, roll over to the sole of the foot. You'll bring one foot on either side, coming back up into that high lunge. Pausing there for a moment. And you'll hop your back foot all the way forward to meet your front foot, Coming into a forward fold of whatever way feels good to you. If you happen to have the blocks, you can put your head on them, release your back. If you don't have blocks, bring hands to elbows and just hang. Allowing yourself to just soften and be here with your body exactly as it is in this moment. Eyes closed, if that feels okay to you. And when you're ready, engage your belly and roll up inch by inch by inch by inch by inch, all the way to rise. And take a moment wherever you are. You may be facing away from the TV or your computer, or whatever you're working on. Allow yourself to relax, soften in, let that blood flow, let everything recalibrate, reset, refill. And when you're ready, come back to face front, the front of your mat, the side of your mat, whatever's easiest. We're going to do tree pose. I do find that tree is a beautiful intention to have when gathering with lots of other humans and or coming into perhaps a difficult meeting or whatever it might be. Finding all 5 toes on your left foot, lifting them up, rooting them downward. Bring your right heel into the left shin, and you can slide the sole of your right foot up onto the left calf. I invite you not to create the most precipitous, precarious, tall tree. You want a stable, beautiful tree. Bring that sole of the foot to the calf. Bring your hands to heart center to help you with balance. Pressing them together, thumbs can come into the sternum. This might be your most beautiful tree. Some of you would like to even keep your toes on the earth. All amazing. Reaching your arms towards the sky, if that resonates for you and feels good in your body. Creating a tree. For those of you who've come to Sagrada, I know there's a few. I like to envision that crazy dead oak tree full of acorns that's so beautiful. And this is my tree, a bit imperfect, a bit lopsided, and absolutely stunning. Perfect for its spot on the earth. Letting yourself enjoy whatever your tree is. If you haven't seen that tree, enjoy a tree that inspires you. And thinking about trees, how trees move forward, what trees do when storms come, what trees do in the winter, in the fall, they lose their leaves, in the spring, they grow beautiful new ones. How might showing up as a tree for difficult situations be helpful? And what might your tree do? Does it have deep roots? What does it have? Bringing your hands back to heart center and your knee back, lowering it down. Notice that many of our trees there swayed in the breeze, but maybe didn't tip over, or if they did tip over, we just came right back. Another wonderful metaphor. Right toes lift up, spread wide, lowering them into the earth, rooting them, grounding them. Left heel is going to come to the inner right shin, tucking that left knee back. Bring your hands to heart center to set yourself up for success. Connecting your thumbs into your sternum, perhaps even connecting to your intentions here to notice if they'll help you as you move ahead. Sole of the foot's going to come to the right inner calf. And if your tree includes branches today, growing them tall. 3 deep breaths here. You can roll your wrists in your tree if you wish. They feel like they would enjoy that. Bring your hands back to center. Pause for a moment, enjoying one more moment as a tree, inviting this tree vision into your plans ahead. I always like to ask, what might a tree do? They're very not reactive or urgent. Bring a knee forward and lower it down, shaking it out, rolling it out, being kind. Bring your hands back to heart center, lifting up on your tiptoes as high as you can and noticing the wobble, embracing it, lifting up tall, press your thumbs into your sternum, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. And for those who wish, you can bend your knees while pressing your thumbs into your sternum, lowering down, inviting the wiggles and the wobbles, and noticing that when we grip too much, we tip, inviting that softness, that grace as you move all the way down and pause. Pause in stillness. Remembering to breathe. And when you feel ready, with your heels still off the earth, press the thumbs into your sternum and slowly, 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 slowly rise up. Taking your time, noticing, appreciating what you can do with this. Lower your heels, hands, shaking it out. And we'll come to lie on the earth, lying with knees bent. And take a moment here to arrive as well. A pause, a break. Remembering you can always take a break and do something that feels really delicious and delightful and restorative to you. Perhaps making a list of what those are in your mind or on a paper to bring with you, even if it's into your own kitchen. Bring your right knee into your belly, give it a hug, stretch your left leg long, hugging that knee in tight, tight, tight. Bring your hands behind your right thigh, straight your right leg, point your toes to your nose, flexed ankle, point your toes to the sky. Point your toes towards your nose, flex your ankle, press your hamstring into your hands, reach your heel towards the sky, and bend your knee. Take your left hand to the outside of the right thigh. You're going to tree your right hand out into a T and allow yourself to roll to the left, coming into a twist. You may have to adjust your hips if you don't have room. And you may like to bend your bottom knee if that feels more stable. Use your space here in ways that feel good. If you wish to bring your left hand under the right thigh just to support your knee, you can do that, or you can let it fold all the way over. Notice what feels good to you. Some of you may also wish to bend that left knee and stack it right under the right. If you have room and would enjoy it, gaze to the right. Knees to the left, gaze to the right. Bring your gaze back to center. You'll release your left hand and bring your knees back to center. Slowly reorganize your hips, your sacrum, bringing your right hand down by your side. You may even need to reorganize your occiput, taking time to arrive and settle once again. You'll notice you feel lopsided. Hug your left knee into your chest and extend the right leg long. Pause and breathe. Bring your hands behind your left thigh. Extend the left leg towards the sky. Toes towards your nose. Toes towards the sky. Flossing the nerve. Toes towards your nose. And again, if that doesn't feel good, just pause where it does. Maybe you need a chest. Toes towards the sky. Toes towards your nose and press your hamstrings into your hand. Heel to the sky for a moment. And release, bend your left knee in. You'll bring your left arm to a T or a cactus shape. Bring your right hand to the outer left thigh, twisting to the right. Some of you will wish to bend that right knee and hop your hips over. Notice what feels good. And part of this exercise is to notice where you land. Do you want to change it? Notice what your body enjoys here in the twist. It might be slightly different than the other side. Not overdoing it. Always caring for yourself and your body, doing no harm, being kind. Listening to your body. Everybody's body is different. Not better, not more in shape, just different. If it feels good to your neck, gaze to the left.
Noticing and listening to even your neck. Sometimes our necks scream, but maybe we could listen to them before they do that. Bring your gaze back to center. Release your hand from your thigh. Rolling your feet back to center. Reorganizing. Knees are bent. Sacrum on the floor. Hands will come by your sides. When you've organized and you're flat and even, bring your heels towards your hips, lift your hips up, coming into a bridge pose. Shimmy your shoulders underneath and do the bridge that feels good to you. It may be a high bridge. It may be just a little stretch. It may be lifting your heels up. Once again, listening to your body here. Yoga is a practice of listening. Family time and holidays are also a practice of listening. Lowering heels if they're up, untangling shoulders if they're tucked under, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, ever so slowly, enjoying each articulation. And when you land, pause and notice. Yoga is a practice of noticing. Mindfulness is a practice of noticing. It helps. And then the coaching piece is the intention piece. How do you want to show up? Bring your knees into your chest and have a fun rock side to side, massaging your lower back. And for anyone who enjoys Happy Baby, come right into that. Soles of the feet towards the sky. Enjoy it. Massage anything that feels tight. And when you feel complete, bring the soles of your feet together. Press your heels into your groin. Enjoy the release. And you'll release your hands. Lower your feet to the floor. Knees apart, soles of the feet together. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, if that works for you. And you'll bring a hand to heart, hand to belly, double hand to belly, whatever feels good to you. And pause. Another butterfly pose in honor of the beginning of the monarch butterflies. You can flap your wings a little bit. Notice if that feels good. Or come to stillness. You can be a sleeping butterfly. Notice your breath. Moment of presence here to really enjoy what you feel. The joy is found in these moments of presence, tiny moments of presence. That's where the joy is. Noticing how your body feels in this moment. Sometimes I use the word delicious. It's a bit more accessible than joy. Using whatever word feels accessible to you today. Lovely. And you could stay here for Shavasana, or you can bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs, draw your knees together, and allow yourself to fall into the most delicious Shavasana for you. Some of you will grab blankets, some of you will do it minimalist, some of you will tuck a bolster under your knees or a pillow. Some of you will do it with knees bent. Allowing yourself to soften in and relax in. Noticing the earth beneath you, holding you, caring for you for these next few moments. Letting your own body do what it does best, breathing on its own, nourishing you with every breath, and allowing yourself to sink in to full relaxation and stillness. Letting it feel delicious, amazing, lovely.
I'm going to share some helpful pre-holiday thoughts from the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. The greatest illusion, said the mole, that life should be perfect. Sometimes I worry you'll all realize I'm ordinary, said the boy. Love does not need you to be extraordinary, said the mole. The fox never really speaks, whispered the boy. No, and it's lovely he is with us, said the horse. To be honest, I often feel I have nothing interesting to say, said the fox. Being honest is always interesting. Is your glass half empty or half full? Asked the mole. I think I'm grateful to have a glass, said the boy. When the big things feel out of control, focus on what you love right under your nose. Sometimes I want to say I love you all, said the mole, but I find it difficult. Do you? Said the boy. Yes, so I say something like, I'm glad we are all here. Okay, said the boy, I'm glad we are all here, and we are so glad you are here too. I've realized why we are here, whispered the boy. For cake, said the mole. To love, said the boy, and be loved, said the horse. Home isn't always a place, is it? Gently begin to deepen your breath. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Taking in a big deep breath, stretch in whatever way feels good to you. Perhaps long above, long in front, or maybe it's something different. Let your body lead the way. When you're ready, roll over to one side and pause. Noticing how you feel, capturing it so you can come back to it whenever you need in the week ahead. Pressing into your hands when you're ready and coming up to a seat where we began. Find your sit bones, sitting up tall, and come into hands open on your thighs in a receptive position or hand to heart, whatever feels best to you. Taking a moment to try them out. Notice where you feel best. Coming back to your breath. And coming back to those intentions you hoped for. What do you hope for or wish for? How would you like to show up in the week ahead? Remembering that that's all that's in your control. What you do, what you say, what you think and feel about what everybody else does, and the tone and energy with which you do that. Letting your intentions and your words guide your tone and your energy. Letting them be your lighthouse and an invitation to show up as a lighthouse. May you all have a beautiful holiday week ahead, doing whatever you're doing with whomever you're doing it and wherever you happen to be. May you all be well. May you all be safe. And may you all love and be loved.